Okay, guys. As last week we started with the collection, but unfortunately we didn't record it well because there was a bandwidth issue for the day of Mahram. The totally government shut down the Sims and the internet's connection for the security purposes, so that's why I couldn't record it. So, anyways, we will cover it today. So, with no further delay, let's begin the session. As we discussed, that collection is a framework in Java, or it's a set of tools that actually help developer to to do a lots of tasks in a short terms or in a short words. We can say that it facilitates the developer to get rid of the complexity of an arrays or linked list data structures that we're gonna study. Okay, what is collection now? It's a framework actually that provide what architecture to store what and manipulate a group of objects. You know what is object? Anything which has a class, we can name it, we can call it as an object. Means that object is what? Object is the physical existence. When it gets physical existence according to computer programming, whenever it occupy a space in the memory or RAM of computer. Now, on in last week's session, I explained that what is framework. Framework, I told you, I give you the example of a bread in bakery that you just go to the bakery and get the bread. You don't worry about the cooking of bread. You don't worry about the corn. You don't worry about the seed. You don't worry about the watering. Everything is handled by someone else. You just pay the less amount of money and you get there. A target. Whatever you want. That was example of framework on that day, which I cover. Okay, now we have a collection framework in Java that works on interface in its implementation of classes and algorithms. These things we cover. Next, we had what? The starting point or the starting program, which was an array list. So we're gonna cover what is array list. Let's see, let me open the pen. First of all, okay, that's good. I told you that array list comes to cover the limitation of what? The limitation of an array itself. How array store the elements inside the RAM of computer? This was the basic syntax of an array. Suppose, for example, I take an example array. This is an example of array. And ARR square bracket equal to new and in between the bracket you specify the size like 5, 6, any number you given. This was a basic example of syntax of what? Declaring an array, but we didn't initialize it yet. This shows what? According to the computer program, whenever compiler encounter or face this kind of syntax, it will go in the memory and create a structure like this. And we'll give it name as an array ARR and divide it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And indexing will be started from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the basic structure which represents in the RAM of computer for an arrays. Whenever you declare an array, the structure will be like this inside the RAM of computer. Like in here, you will store 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, any number you can store like this. But it has some limitations. What was the limitation? The limitation of this was what? That they cannot go beyond the size of 5. That you cannot add dynamically record beside the 10. Like if I want to add one another record, So I need to do what? I need to restart my program and change the size of an array for that, which is very costly for me. So in terms of programming or in terms of projects, it is very costly for us. The scenario or use cases of arrays were, like suppose now the limitation was what? That you cannot add an extra element because the size is already defined as a 5. So it occupies 5 space. You can see that it starts from 0. If you count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It occupies 5 space in the RAM of computer, but index start from 0. That's why it goes till 4. The use case of arrays were use case of arrays like use case of an array. Mostly in admission section of the college. Admission section of the college. Like, suppose a college for a division A. This is my division A and division B. They specify that the division A is in class we can only 90 students can sit, and division B can only 70 students sit. Now for this, whenever you're declaring or your programming developer programmed, so the size is fixed. College admission for division A will not go beyond 90. So they will do what? Instead of using array list, they will use what? Array in here. They will do what? Array new and they will assign the size as a 90. So that's all totally. You can go for this operation. And for division B, same like this. They will just change the size. This is the use case or usage of an array. Guys, when you're joining, please mute yourself. Now, next point is that we have one another topic called array list, which belongs to Java collection framework. Now, why we are using array list? Array list comes into the picture to cover that limitation size. Whenever now, if we use array list, with the help of array list, you don't need to be worried about the size. Anytime you can add dynamically size attached with that array. How it works, let's see in next picture. Let me say don't save. Now how array list work? First of all, the basic syntax is like this. Basic syntax of array list is that you need to write array, list, array list, and inside the bracket, this is angle bracket. We name it as an angle bracket or less than greater than sign. And here you need to specify the size. Like suppose if I'm storing in a digit, so I need to take as an integer, but you need to write down full integer. Close the bracket. That is okay. Next is that I need to give the object name. Object name equal to new, and then array list, specify this data type again, teacher, and this bracket. This is the basic syntax for what? For array list we have. How it represents inside the memory. The structure will be represents like what? The structure is same like an array in the memory. Whenever a compiler faced this kind of a syntax, so compiler will do it. Suppose I give the object name as a read. So compiler will do it. Compiler will occupy a space and give a name as a read, and it will do it. It will occupy a space like this, first of all. Let me clean it. Wait a second. First of all, compiler will assign a value, a place like this. This will be a data value, and this section is only null or empty for another space. But this is dynamically happened. We don't need to be worried. This is only taken by who? By the compiler or by the person, by the system, that whenever they add one another value, so they will store it in here and they will create by default one another space and keep it null for the future use cases. How it happens, like suppose for example, I have one method, like I have a method of add an array list. So if I add one, so it will what? It will do what? So it will store one for me in here, and it will keep that space as empty null like this for me. If I add, call a function of add two, it will do what? It will store two inside this for me, and it will generate one another box and keep it as a null. The process is like this. So you don't need to give the size. How many size you add, it will get it and store it there. The rest concept is same, that it is index start from 0, 0, 1, 2, and goes like this. You get the difference, that how it works. What is the difference between array and array list, how it works, how it stored the data. Then all procedure is same, just the way they are different with the size which we are given. Khalid, we learned arrays with scanner class. We added as a what? We read the size of an array there as a dynamic. But in here, dynamicness means that in array list, that you don't give the size. Size grow automatically by themselves. How many numbers or how many strings that you pass, you don't need to be worried about the size. But on that classes which we use scanner, if you remember, first of all, we need to declare the size of an array, which was the big limitation for you. That's why we need for what? We need to use an array list for that. If we concern about the size of an program. Okay, guys, that was all about the explanation and difference between them. So let's program. Let's write a code for that. Okay, I already created a collection package for that. Let's click on this. On that day, I guess my compiler version was 1.8 and my Eclipse was 17. So I updated my compiler to 17. So now it works fine for me and for others who are changing the name of the class. So that's all. That's also good. In my use case, it was only the problem of changing the compiler version. So let's create a class. Let's name it as a I will name it as a list program. Okay, I will click on public static void main. The program is created. So let's code it. First of all, I need to use the array list integer. Array list, write like this, open the angle bracket. Inside that, I need to, first of all, I will do the operation on integers. Okay, I will do list. I will name it, let's name it as a read equal to new array list angle bracket integer, and that's all. Now why it gives this error, if you hover on that, it will not give you the import class. You know, it says the create class. For that, let's do this. Import java dot util dot what? Array list. And if you add this, that's all, the error are gone. As of now, everything is seem fine and correct. So now my next job is to do what? Now I declare the size, now I declared the structure or syntax of an array, and the name of array is read itself. So for that, I will do it. Now I want to add values to this. So, and I will add store values. So with that, I will have to do it. First of all, I have one function because we created the object of an array list. An array list is a class itself. So we do what? We create add. We have an add function that do it, that adds the data for us. So we'll do a read with the help of object dot add integer. So I add one, add a semicolon. Let's do read dot add what? Add, I will add two semicolon read dot add, let's say 4. I will add 4. Now I want to display this. So with the help of system dot out dot println, I would say what I will pass the object only read. I save the program and I will run it. If I run it, you can see that inside the square bracket of an array, it prints out the data for me 1, 2, and for whatever I read it. That was all about an array list, guys. Now, do you have any question till this point? Any confusing point? Anything which irritates you? Yeah, definitely, Feroz. Array list is flexible than array. Okay, if you guys don't have any question, so go ahead, create the program and write the code. I'll give you 3 minutes for that. I'll pause the recording for a minute. Now, guys, let's create in the same program. Let's practice the what? The string part. That how we will use the string with the array list. Same concept, array list you can declare list. Just in the angle bracket, instead of integer, just pass int, and I will do it. I will use the scan. The scan is on an object name. It is not belongs to a scanner class. Okay. New array list angle bracket string, and that's all. Now you can do it. You can add it like this. Like you just call the object name scan dot add. Now it gives us string value. So you need to pass it inside the double quotes. So I will pass cobble. Let's say scan dot add VA Virginia. Let's say scan. Sorry. Scan dot add what? Let's say CA. Now if I print it, just same like I print for the integer value, system dot out dot println, just pass it as a scan, pass the object name. And if I run it, you can see that on the top of that is I read the integer value. Below that, I read the character string values, Kabul, Virginia, and California, which I added in this function. And this is for what? This is for the string data type. Now you can type this code in the same program. Okay, guys, this was for the array list that we read the data in integer format. We read it in a string format, that how we will assign the string and integer value inside the array list. Now let's practice let's practice a removal operation, that how we can remove elements from the array itself. First of all, let me create a program. Okay, let me see what Feroz passes. Is it running? Is it working fine or no? It's not leaving you to run the program. Okay, sometimes it depends on the theme of the that software which you're working on that. Previously, if you seen in my screen, because I use a white theme, so that's why it doesn't show. But if you see, it turns to gray. Can you see my screen? It turns to gray. So you're using dark dim, that's why it turns to green, highlighted to green. But no worries, it's okay. It's okay, Feroz. Okay, let's now do a little bit of operation on top of the array list. I will create one new program, collection, new class. Let's say, let's name it list operation, OPS. I'll click on public static void main. Let me delete this. Let's, before starting the program, write the import java.util.array list. Now I'll do it. Array list string. Let's say not string. Yeah, string. Let's do the operation on string. Okay, new and array list bracket. I'll pass string. That's all. Now I'll do what? Read dot, let's say add. I will add province like let's start from DC. Let's say read dot add first of all VA. Let me copy this. Control C. And let's change it, the name to like CA TX for Texas and NYC for New York. And let's name other state. Let's remove the last one. I don't remember for now. Okay. These are the states that we store: DC, Virginia, California, Texas, and New York City, that we store in our array list. How many are they? If you count it, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It means the index starts from 0 and it will go till 4. Now I will display this system dot out dot println. We'll do it. Sorry. Let's pass a comment and let's say array list before OPS operations. Let's concatenate it with read. If I run this, let's see what will happen. You can see array list with the before operation. These are the elements or items that we store. Now I'll do it. I will add elements once more, but in a specified positions. Like I would say read dot add what? Add, I would say add an element not at the end of an array. Add it in between the Virginia and California. I want to add in between the Virginia and California. Let's say the value will be what? Let's say BA or I would say I would add beach. Now, what is the index number? DC starts to 0, Virginia is 1, California is 2. So I would do what? Instead, I would do what, guys? Instead, I would do like Virginia starts at 1 position index. At which position? At 1 position. And California is in 2nd position. So I need to place it in between these two. So which index will be prefer? I need to add. So I will add it if I want it after Virginia and before the California. So I will add 2. So let's say insert semicolon. Okay, that's cool. Now, if I display it again, I will copy this. After the operations, after the OPS. Now, if I run it, you can see that, guys, before the operations, DC, Virginia, California, Texas, New York. But after the operation at index 2, you can see at index 2, previously we had what? We had California. Now at index 2 in new operations that we added, we have beach. So you can see that I placed it between the Virginia and California. You guys now understand that how we do the operations if we want to target a specific position and we add the elements in between that?
That is correct, sir. And that's with the help of index, right?
Yeah. With the help of these indexing, now we can directly target the index position and we can add the elements. Let's suppose I would ask I would ask Ahmad Samadi. Ahmad, you tell me that I want to add a value between Texas and New York City. So what should I do?
I think sure, sir, it's the DC is 0. So Virginia is 1, California is 2, Texas is 3. So it should go after 3.
Okay, you mean I should add it at 4 element?
Yeah.
Because I want it after the Texas.
So after Texas, that should go 1, 2. So it should be 1, 2, 3. It should go after 3.
Okay, after the 3, what index we have? We have 4 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say it as a wash. Let's see what will be the output. But wash comes off before the Texas. Why it comes before the Texas?
Oh, because we have beach already. That's why.
Yeah, definitely. Because if we have now an updated array, we stored the element of beach. You can see that before the wash, we already inserted the beach. So that's why it adds before the Texas. So if I change this to 5, if I save it and if I run it, now you can see that it placed between the Texas and New York City.
Oh, got it. Now you explained before that there's another box that goes right beside that, as just in case.
Definitely. Now you guys see that how the size grow dynamically, at which I explained it on the starting of the session, that how they're gonna add the indexes dynamically. So you don't need to be worried about the size. Just how many index you want to add it. No worries, they will handle it by themselves. So this is the power of what? This is the power of an array list. So go ahead, type the code, guys. We'll give you 5 minutes for that. Marina asked a question that we add 4 and previously in our previous array 4 is after the Texas. Marina, we have what? Let's draw this in here. Let's say we have one array list before the operation, before OPS. We stores element of DC. Next is what? Let's see. We have DC VACA, DC VACA, TX, and I guess last one is NYC. This is the array. Sorry, this is an extra. So don't consider this. This is extra. We have an array list like this that stores 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the size of my array list. Now the question is, let me draw this. Let me erase this. Let's erase this like that. And let's take it again in here. Okay. Now my question is that after the operation, we did what? We displayed, first of all, we displayed that elements. And after that, we did an operations. First operation was add what? Add 2. At which index? I told that add which, what? Add beach. At index number 2. Now in here, Marina, tell me, at index number 2, we have what? We have California. I told the system that, hey, push the California ahead and place the beach instead of that. Compiler will do what? Compiler assign, okay, DC's on their place, Virginia is on their place. So instead of CA, they write beach, and they assign a new index to California. California, Texas, and NYC. Now you can see that the size grow dynamically. Now we have what? We have a scenario like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our index grows by 1. Now we add one another operation. Now our updated array list is this one. Our updated array list is this one because we have added a beach inside that. Now, if we do the another operation that add what? Add 4, because we want to add a system, because we want to add wash what? Let me add comma, wash in between the Texas and New York City. So if I wanted that wash come after the Texas and before the previous NYC, so I need to add it at index number 5, not 4, because in updated array, index number 4 is Texas itself. So if I add it on the top of the Texas, so Texas was move ahead. So it will go like this: wash, Texas, and New York City. For that reason, on updated array, I took 5 because 5 comes after the 4. So New York will push ahead, and that wash will come in between the Texas and New York City. Now you got it, Marina?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, that was for inserting an element inside the what? Our array list. Okay, now let's practice what? Let's practice the new scenario, the removal scenario, that how we can remove these elements which we added. For example, now as of now, let's comment this section, whatever we add beach and watch. Okay, now let me run this again. Everything is same like which we added. Now let's practice the removal scenario, how the remove work. Okay, read dot, I would say remove. Remove is in a function. Let's say add. Okay, now remove works on index base. It doesn't works on top of the values. if you want to remove Virginia, so you need to pass the index of Virginia for that. If you want to remove California, so you need to pass the index of California. So in here, what is the index of the Virginia? The index of Virginia is 1. So add 1. So now if I run this, you can see before the operation, we have DC, Virginia, California, Texas, New York. But after the operation, we have DC, California, Texas, and New York. The Virginia is already removed and deleted. This is the beauty of a remove function, that without any hesitation, it will take out that element from the array list for you. Like suppose, let's say I would remove read dot remove what? I would remove New York. New York is located at which index as of now? Okay, Marina, you tell me. Now New York is located at which index?
New York
Yeah, this NYC is located at which index?
in 5.
No, how it's going to be 5? Because the index are starting from 0.
No, 4. Sorry.
4 is also not, because you have an update array. Virginia is already deleted, so it is in index 3. Oh, you got it? If I run this again, so you can see that DC, California, and Texas is remaining for us. Virginia and NYC is already deleted from the array list. Go ahead, guys, type the code. The recording. Okay, guys, now let's cover the linked list. Guys, linked list is concept and methods like we call add, we add, remove, we add indexes. Everything is same. The procedure is same for like array list, just the changes or the type and it changes in a syntax, or next other one is in a concept that we're going to explain. But let's first of all explain the concept of a linked list. What it says. I told you that array list store it in like in this format. This is my, let me change my pen. Let's change the brush to this. I told you that array list, oh, it's more double than that. It's okay. Array list store like this. They wrap it in one box and they partition it like this, the values. But now in terms of linked list, what happened? In terms of linked list, they divide a tiny small boxes like this. This segment belongs to data, and this segment belongs to the address. Now they are connected through a vector to another node. And this box itself, all of the box is called a node. Data, address, and node, another node. They are connected through the vector. The display or the structure that they are placing inside the memory is like this. Just consider so that you can differentiate between them. Now, what is the difference, or what is the which one is which one is more secure, which one is more means in term of performance, in term of usability in use case? What are the difference? And if you have a lots of if you have operations of only display, like you want to display billions of record from database table, so you can use, because you don't have a insertion, deletion, removal operation, so you can go with that array list itself. This is more fast and more secure for you. And in terms of searching, it is very excellent. But if there is operation of like a remove, like we can say insert, is a lot. So on billions of record, you need to go with the linked list, because in that time, this is very beneficial for term of removal and insertion. In term of display, a developer will go with the array list. In term of removal, insertion, deletion, these sorts of operations, developer will go with the linked list. This is the difference in the structure, how they display or how they occupy a space on the memory. These were the concepts which were different, but the rest, the methods which we use for the array list is same for the linked list. I took in here, you can see that. Let's see how we gonna call linked list. You can see the syntax is same. Linked list, string, al, new, same like array list we called. Just like this, linked list, everything is fine. Now you can go and type a code. Let's create a code for that. I would do, let's say I will take a new program, class. Okay. Now let me name it as a linked program. Okay, let's say public static void main. Now do it, linked list. Let's say linked list string read equal to new. Again, linked list string. Now let's import that. Import java.util. Okay. Let's say we import the wrong package. Let's say star. Just put a star, everything will be imported for you. Now, the operation is same, read.add. Add what? Read.add, let's say Kabul. Read.add, let's say Mazar. And if you want to display, just like this, sysout system.out.println. Let's pass it like this, println, and let's say what? Let's pass the object name. If I run it in term of display, sorry. In term of display, that you can see that all are wrapped in one bracket. There is no difference in display, but they're gonna store in a different structure inside the memory. So the operation is same, the display is same, but this little bit changes in a syntax in term of operations itself. That array list we're gonna use with the display purpose if we want to display something. So array list is better for a billions of record, but in terms of deletion, insertion, any sorts of other operations, linked list is very beneficial for us. This was all about today's lecture, guys, that we covered array list and linked list of the collection class. You can do the same operation which you add for the array list on the top of linked list. Abdul, yeah, once this concept is finished, I will pass it on the Google Drive itself. Today, I will pass this PPTs on that. There is a folder that I will show you. And I will pass the message on the group also. So no worries, I will tell you where you can find it.
Thank you, sir. And I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the difference between array list and linked list? As I see, there is no difference.
I told you that the difference is in terms of storing inside the memory. Whenever they are storing inside the memory, array list is stored like a contiguous. And array list are starting from 0, 1, 2 like this. Am I right? But these information, just remove this also. Just don't worry about this. But in terms of display, in terms of storing inside the memory, this is conceptual concept problem. So they will display or store like this, which I cover it in here. Can you see? The only difference is that first of all, in a term of storing, like how they're gonna structurize it inside the RAM of the computer. And next is that if there is a operation of display, we will go with the array list. If there is operation of removal and deletion insertion, so we will go with the linked list.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, got it. Okay, guys, go ahead, type the code. We are done for today. So I'm winding up the session in here. I know that it was easy, but also it's a little bit confusing for you, but no worries, it is very easy. Just you're gonna use an array list of these sessions that we're gonna study we studied today and we're gonna study tomorrow. Just we will use array list for the toggling purpose whenever we open a 2 tab inside the browser in Selenium. So once we start with the Selenium, you will see that that we will use only array list in there. So no worries about that. That's all for today's session. I'll pause the recording.